welcome back to the First Year Business Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Lashana Smith, and we have our first guest, y'all. I was so excited. This is Lashana West, and she is a millionaire mindset coach and business therapist. So I wanted to have her on the podcast today because she helps business owners with the mindset. And you guys know that I am really big on talking about how to get your mind together when you are dealing with the struggles of a new business, because there's ups and downs. So we're going to get into a lot of different things today. Now, I would love for you to just quickly explain to my listeners exactly what it is that you do, who do you serve, like all that good stuff.
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be the first guest. That's super exciting, and congratulations on your launch. So my name is Lashana West. I'm a millionaire mindset coach and business therapist, and I help CEOs and leaders pinpoint and process the mindset blocks that's keeping them stuck and stagnant. So what does that look like? Most times, impostor syndrome, unresolved childhood trauma, all of that junk and gunk that we drag from one relationship to the next or one opportunity to the next. I help you process that and really help you to see how that has been holding you back and is a barrier of you getting to your next level. And it's not even about the money, because I believe that the money is going to come. The money is energy. The money is revenue that we can create, but we want it to be sustainable. So I literally help you bridge the gap between your mindset and your money so you can live a fulfilling life.
I absolutely love that. And I'm so glad that you chose a very specific niche in reference to mindset. And then not only that, being a business therapist. And it's almost like it seems like that doesn't really exist in the space.
No,
So
I literally
yeah.
I've created my own lane. And my goal is to help more therapists move from the couch to coaching, because this is the difference between a therapist, a business therapist, and a business coach. I'm in the middle. I understand the life stuff, the mental health stuff. I understand the business stuff and launching and launch trauma and client junk. And what I do is help you in the middle. So a lot of my clients already have a therapist, they already have a business coach, and I'm that extra layer of support to help them thrive instead of survive.
That makes so much sense because of you already knowing the experiences, like you said, launch trauma. When I tell you I have launch trauma, it's things
Yeah.
that like you would specifically be able to resonate with and help someone with, because you can't typically talk to just anybody about that type of stuff and then they understand what it's like to deal with certain things we deal with, especially as a new business owner. I think that in the beginning stages, like we go from like the corporate 9 to 5, and we're used to clocking in, clocking out. You know, you're going to get that check every week. But then when you hit entrepreneurship and you get on this roller coaster,
Right.
it can be a lot. So being able to have something like a business therapist,
Mm-hmm.
that's gold right there. So I love
Thank
that.
you.
So I wanted to dive a little deeper into being a new business owner, and like what was your experience like as a new business owner? What kind of background did you come from, and what made you specifically get into being a business therapist and becoming a millionaire mindset coach?
For sure. So my background is mental health. I have a master's in clinical counseling. I've been everything from a direct therapist to a clinical assessor to a program director of a residential facility to a program director of crisis stabilization. I literally was in every continuum of care when it comes to mental health. So think of from parenting classes, facilitating those, to foster care, to residential, to intensive. Intensive is where it's like more lockdown facility because they are very at risk to themselves or others. I worked on every continuum of care. And then lastly, when I left corporate, I was doing more so macro management. So I was a clinical assessor and clinical quality consultant of doing like more so case reviews behind the scenes, making sure the quality of the programming was effective. But in short, just making sure that at the end of the day, we are accountable and doing the things that we say that we're going to do. Hence, my program in business is called Accountability on Demand. So I literally was able to leverage and use the skills I already had and move them into a different capacity, which is now what I do as a millionaire mindset coach and business therapist.
Mm. So you have a lot of background and history with working with people on their mindset and stuff, not even just in entrepreneurship, like just in all different angles. So that
Yeah.
is absolutely amazing. I didn't know that about you. See, you learn
Yeah.
something new every day, right?
Thank you. I probably should start sharing it more. And I think I will. It's funny. Recently I've been sharing about when I got fired and how
Mm,
it freed me and kicked me out of the nest. This was 15 years ago, but I got fired from
wow.
the job
Okay.
I was at for 10 years. And I wouldn't be where I am now had I not got kicked out of the nest. So after that storytelling, I probably will start sharing more about my operational experience.
I think you should. I actually did see one of the posts that you did about when you got fired and stuff. And I think so many people, like, they have a different story that led them into entrepreneurship. Sometimes you need like a little kick, and then sometimes you just have that pull and you just like take that step and just go out into it.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, I mean, because I see you as successful. I don't even remember how I found you. I know you were at like a conference that I had saw, and I don't remember if that's how we started following each other. I'm not really sure. But I just remember that you were just so bubbly and out there and like about your business. Okay. I'm like, this girl is about her business. And it's so motivating, especially like, because I consider myself, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for well over 10 years, but I
Mm-hmm.
still kind of consider myself a new business owner because I just started back doing coaching full time. So I'm still learning like little things in reference to getting your business off the ground and growing your YouTube channel and like all these different steps. And seeing someone like you who is on the other end and now you're helping other people, especially with the mindset thing, is very admirable. I hope I
Thank you.
used the right word for that. Admirable.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so for new business owners, what do you tend to see that they are experiencing when it comes to mindset, imposter syndrome, or anything like that? Like, what do you tend to see that's holding them back from success?
Yeah, honestly, fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of success, and fear of failure. And what that means is they're projecting so far out, and because they're not in control and they're not sure about how it's going to turn out, they just start to shrink and go to that comfort zone and that safety zone. But I always say comfort zone is the danger zone, because if you're comfortable, like I said, I got kicked out of the nest. I was in that job drinking the Kool-Aid, comfortable. I was literally a robot, to where me being creative, me saying I'm a business therapist, me serving entrepreneurs would have never came into my brain, because I literally was, okay, they told me to do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it well, and just continue to just take information and do what they said. Well, the beauty of entrepreneurship is you get the freedom to be who you are and test things out and have fun. But you'll never get to that point if you're timid and you're shrinking and you're scared to even try. So I think that fear is the number one thing that kind of keeps people stuck.
And fear is very deadly and dangerous when it comes to entrepreneurship. One thing that I have personally learned that attaches to my fear is that I feel that I'm on the side of entrepreneurship where I know what not to do because I've done all the things that you ain't supposed to do. And
Right.
so I have developed this new fear that I didn't even realize existed until I started experiencing it, where you're afraid to try something else because you fear that that too is not going to give you the results that you're looking for. So, what is your advice to people who maybe have the fear of what if this doesn't work? Like, what
So
if
that,
this doesn't work either? You know?
yeah, so that's the fear of unknown and fear of failure together. And I would say reframe that. What if this works and XYZ happens? If it doesn't work, what am I able to learn from it? Because it's the thing, feedback and failure go together real bad. Failure is feedback to tell you what you need to tweak, what you need to modify, what you need to change. If you don't do it, you're going to be stuck in that same place. And a year
Right.
later, because you haven't tried, you're literally behind because you're not having any momentum. The only difference between these people, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Grant Cardones, whoever you see up there in the sky, like, oh my God, they're killing it, is that they did not give up. They failed. They bumped their head. They got no answers. They embarrassed themselves. They did all of the things. And that's why they're ahead of you, because you're scared to put yourself out there and fail.
Right.
I say fail fast. Try it quickly. Have you ever thought about an idea and you were scared to do it, and then you seen it come across your timeline? You're like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I literally was just thinking about launching that offer or having that kind of masterclass. Now, if I do it,
Right.
they don't think I
It's gonna
copied it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's so good. That definitely has happened to me before. It's been something that I've slept on, and then I'll see
Yep.
someone else doing. I'm like, dang, like missed opportunity, right? Um,
Yes.
Another thing that I want to talk about, you mentioned this earlier, imposter syndrome. And I know you've been talking on your Instagram a lot more about imposter syndrome. And I feel that that is really, really big in the beginning stages of entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
You may not have clients. Like I know a lot of people on this podcast, they're either coaches or they're delivering some type of information and selling like online products. So it's easy to fall into the trap, especially when you see people who are already established in the industry that you're pursuing. You'll
Mhm.
see like what they're doing and what they're launching. And it's easy to get imposter syndrome because you're like, oh, okay. So who am I to like come out here in this industry, in these
Yep.
streets, and all these other people are doing so well, and they're showing especially the numbers. I feel that the numbers, like financial numbers, and specifically the coaching space, can be very
Mhm.
intimidating to someone who is new in the coaching space if they're not bringing in consistent income at the beginning stages, or maybe their numbers just don't look like that. You know, so
Right.
what tell us, because someone listening to this may be experiencing imposter syndrome, but they don't even really know what it is. So,
Yeah.
share what is imposter syndrome and how you help people with that.
Sure. So imposter syndrome is the inner critic telling you that you're not enough, that you don't belong at the table, and at some point, everyone's going to find out that you're a fraud. You don't really know what you're doing. Everyone around you knows way more, and it literally causes you to shrink. It causes you to second guess, overthink, overanalyze, and even, I call it, hate on yourself. You mentioned about people showing the numbers, and I just want us to take this information and this data with a grain of salt. You don't know what the people doing. They can show you anything. They can, now mind you, I'm not discrediting anybody, but I also know people that kind of forge the numbers or amplify the numbers, or they may have those numbers, but how much did they spend in ads? And when you do the math, it was really a loss or a wash, right? Or you don't know what they've done and all the opportunities that they bumped their head on, and influencers that they've paid, or people that they know who had an audience and they were able to tap in. There's so many variables on why people are where they are. The biggest thing is to focus on you until the focus is on you,
Mm,
because you keep being overwhelmed and uh what's the word I'm looking for, basically consuming all of their information, what they're doing, then that's why you're distracting. You're not doing your own stuff.
that's a whole word right there.
Right?
That's a
Here,
whole
here
word.
you are scrolling on social, looking at what Keisha doing on Keisha website, doing all the things. When you gonna go live and post your content and create and work on your marketing plan? So let's just stop worrying about everybody else and worry about yourself. And this is the thing with imposter syndrome. It impacts the ones who are literally, truly, truly brilliant, the ones who have the accolades, the expertise, the qualifications. Everyone else around them knows how dope they are, but they are still putting themselves in a small little cage. You literally have to unleash yourself from your own thoughts. Remember, it's the inner critic. And I heard you say most people who start off struggle with it. I would beg to differ. Everybody struggles with it on every area. It just looks different.
Yeah.
From millionaire to billionaire to 9 to 5 or to 6-figure earner, it looks different. because different levels show different devils.
Mm.
So initially I'm struggling with, I can't believe I started my business. I can't believe I'm a coach. Okay, you're a coach. You got the clients, you're making the money. To, is this going to be sustainable? Am I really going to be able to keep this up? To, okay, I've been able to keep this up, but am I really happy? Have I been a fraud the whole time because now I want to do X, Y, Z? It turns into a different kind of beast.
It does. It really does. And I want to add to what you said. You made some really, really, really good points about it looks different in different stages of business. Like it doesn't technically just go away. Like it just shows up differently. And one thing that I realized at the beginning stages, I noticed that like at the beginning when I wasn't having clients or I didn't have people that I was literally helping at that time, it was easy for me to like kind of bottle myself up and not feel like I was good enough. Because another thing that I noticed is that when you have all of this information, you kind of assume that everybody knows what you know. And sometimes it takes for someone to pull that information out of you, like your client or a potential client or whoever it is. And now you're serving them and you're like, oh, I'm dropping some nuggets. Okay.
Right.
And
Or why would they pay me for this? This comes to me so easy. Why would they pay me for this?
right. That's a really good one too. Like you almost feel like, oh, that's a really good one, especially because I hear people say like, "Oh, well, you could just Google certain things, or you could just go on YouTube." And so that also I feel can develop imposter syndrome as well, because if you charge for your time or you're charging for a course, and technically they can find the information on YouTube, it can make you kind of like shrink a little bit. But
Mhm.
like you said, the information that you know and the experiences that you've gone through in order to get the knowledge that you have is what essentially people are paying for. And sometimes they need to hear the information from you. I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times I have gotten on YouTube and it could be three different people saying the same information and it don't hit until that one person that just, you know what I'm saying, that I'm able to resonate with.
Yep.
That's the one that hits for me. And it looks
Mm-hmm.
different for everyone. So don't let what other people are doing, or I just messed that all the way up. Don't let what other people are doing currently make you feel like you're not good enough. And another thing that I want to add in reference to that is it's really helpful to mute people and
Mm-hmm.
unfollow people if they are contributing to your imposter syndrome. I just recently did this again. I go on like a social media detox or a social media mute season sometimes when I feel that there are so many people in my head. And don't get me wrong, it's like they have good intentions, like they're trying to help, but sometimes you have to pull away from
Mm-hmm.
all of the noise so that you don't start questioning your decision making, so that you don't start questioning your expertise and your knowledge or whatever. And you just have to go out and do the thing and look at them when you want to look at them, like where they're not popping up on your feed, like you having a good day. And then this is one of the reasons why I started, and you guys might be able to relate to this. Sometimes, I mean, you ain't supposed to get on your phone when you first wake up, but hey, I'm working on myself.
Girl,
I
me too.
get I will scroll in the bed when I wake up, and the first thing I see is, "Oh, your business sucks because blah 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 blah." And you weren't really looking for that information. And even though they may be trying to be helpful, you didn't need it at that time. And now the whole day you're trying to like revamp or pivot your business because someone said your business sucks because of XYZ. And so
That's a bar.
sometimes muting people temporarily is very beneficial.
Most definitely. It's so funny because you mentioned about muting people. You got to take your power back. And this is the thing, whoever you mute or unfollow, it's not that they did anything wrong, but they're
Right.
impacting your mindset and how you're focusing on XYZ. That's okay. And if you want to refollow or unmute, that's up to you. But it's courageous enough to be aware and do something about what's impeding your growth, right? Because in a perfect world, we'll be so strong enough to where, and not strong enough, we'll be, how do I say this, strategic enough to hear whatever we can, whatever we hear, it doesn't matter. And we're still going to be solid and confident in where we are. That takes time. But step one, you are aware of what's triggering you, what's impeding, and you do something about it. That's a win all by itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very well said. Now, is there any other advice that you would like to give to our listeners before we hop into the next thing?
Yeah. You mentioned about being on YouTube and everybody saying the same thing, but somebody resonated. So people are paying for the fast track to success. If I'm a business therapist and a mindset coach, and I've built my practice a year, 2 year, 3 years, or whatever, and I was able to leave corporate, and you're at corporate unhappy, yes, you can go Google how to leave corporate, how to build a coaching business, but why not go to someone who actually did it, who looks like you, who has a story like yours, and you see yourself in what they're talking about instead of going to a stranger or going to Google University, YouTube Institute. You got to pay to play. And a lot of times our money mindset blocks will have us in the same place we were 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. Right. And one thing that I know is that once you level up in your money mindset, meaning you're not investing in a course, a person, or a community, you're investing in yourself through their expertise, your swag be different. Your confidence be different. Okay. Yeah. I paid 10K for XYZ. I paid 5K. I paid 1,000. 1,000 might be a stretch for you, but the more you increase your money mindset, trust and believe, you're going to level up in several areas of your life and in monetary areas of your life. And I used to have a money mindset, but I'm not going to pay her $97 to teach me this. Went from paying $97 to $4,000 to $12,000 to $25,000, and my latest investment was $45,000. I'm not bragging. I'm letting you know I started off with not wanting to pay 97. Had I not made those investments, I would not be here before you. I would still be in corporate, unhappy, trying to figure it out on a hamster wheel and just doing all the things and not getting it anywhere. I don't know who that was for.
It was for somebody.
Put me in the comments, okay? Because it used to be for me, but now it's for you.
Yes, yes. That is so good. I learned also that pricing from a coaching perspective, you have to be very strategic with how you price because different price structures hit different people at different stages in their mental. So, like you said, at one point you were like $97. Like, I'm not.
Yes.
And so, depending on what transformation or result you're offering your clients, you really want to make sure that they're at a certain place where, for one, they're going to be willing to invest in themselves because they know they're going to execute. And a lot of the times I find that people are more willing to invest in themselves when they have worked on their mindset. And I never understood that. Like the first time I started coaching, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's, if you want to make 6 figures, if you want to do this or be successful, it starts with the mindset. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But as I've continued to pursue entrepreneurship, I've realized that having a faulty mindset will cause you to self-sabotage yourself. And one of those ways of self-sabotaging yourself is being like, I'm not paying on $97 for that.
Yep. Let me give you a perfect example. Had a money mindset block, went to a conference, and they asked for $12,000. No, it was 10K. And I was like, I'm not finna give her no car. I'm not finna pay $10,000. Went home, got the information that I needed, kind of did okay in my business, went to the conference another year and seen everybody who was in the audience with me. About 15 people were on stage celebrating their 6-figure year.
Wow.
That's when I had my aha moment. The longer I hate on myself and not believe in myself and not pay, the longer I'm going to be not stuck and stagnant, because I had a little momentum, but it was slow momentum. Fast forward, joined the program. It went up. It was 12,000.
It always do. You be like, dang, I should have did it the first time.
Did the program, made 6 figures and beyond, left my 9 to 5, and here we are.
Wow.
Right? But here's the thing. I don't care how much money you pay. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get the results. I don't care. I don't care if you work with Oprah Winfrey, Grant Cardone, Beyonce, Jay-Z. if you don't do the work, you're not going to get any kind of movement and progress. So you still have to do the work. I don't care if it's 1,000, 10K, or 50K. You must do the work and ask for help so you can get your needs met.
Somebody need to hear that. Somebody procrastinating. Somebody done seen somebody's coaching program or something that you feel that you need to invest in, and you're like, man, I don't know. And sometimes the results, they give what they need to give, and you have to make the decision for yourself. Like, am I willing? Am I willing to make this investment so that I can get the information I need, get the support that I need to get that result? And sometimes you have to do it. You have to make that decision for yourself.
Yeah,
So
and the journey is not going to be the same for everybody, right? You might enter a program, you do the work, and you don't get the results. Okay, reassess and realign. What needs to be tweaked? What do you need to work on? Is it your messaging? Is it your marketing? Is it your mindset? Is it the environment? Is it the wrong XYZ? You got to continue to tinker and look at it as a hypothesis. If I do this and I do this and I do this, will this work? Entrepreneurship is a big hypothesis. Don't nobody really know what they're doing.
That's
You're
facts.
laughing and I'm serious.
Yeah, that's facts.
And I know someone like, oh, sis, I know what I'm doing. Okay. Then why I see the same emails and the same landing pages with the different messaging and the switch with this and the switch with that every other month? Because you're in the lab trying and seeing what's working. So as long as you're open to testing and trying and tweaking, you will succeed. But if you have a fixed mindset and a one-way thinking of, oh, black and white, it's not going to work. It got to be colorful. It got to be gray. Black and white going out the window, because you're going to have to modify, especially with the different days and the, different shifts of the culture and entrepreneurship and things of that nature.
That's so true. That's so true. Thank you so much for hopping on. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, for sure. So Lashana West on all things social. If you follow me on Instagram, that's literally where I live, play, hang out. And then also what I'm doing right now is offering a complimentary clarity call. And it's a breakthrough call to really assess where you are in life and business, what mindset blocks you have, and how we can potentially work together. And all you have to do is DM the word breakthrough on Instagram. But it's Lashana West on all things social.
And we didn't hit on this, but y'all noticed that she has like a very similar name to mine. I'm just saying. Thank you so much. Guys, if you resonated with this at all and you feel like you need to work with Lashana, I'm telling you, work with her. Because first of all, her personality is infectious. You're going to have a good time, for one, regardless of what it is that she's helping you with. But the mindset may be that block that you're dealing with that's keeping you from getting to the other side that you're looking to get onto. So I will make sure to drop all of her links in the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, it will be in the description box. Thank you again so much, Lashana, for being on the podcast. This was so fun.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.